Why does it seem so much harder to get shallower depth of field on smaller sensors compared to larger ones, even if you're using the exact same aperture? The depth of field is based on three factors: the focal length, the aperture, and the distance of your subject from the focus plane. But there's a fourth factor that most people forget, and this is the sensor size. When you're using a smaller sensor, you need a shorter focal length in order to get the exact same field of view than a longer focal length on a larger format sensor. For example, an 85mm focal length on a full-frame camera might equate to around 40 to 45 on a micro four thirds sensor. So inherently shorter focal lengths have a deeper depth of field, meaning more planes are in focus. This just comes down to the physics. However, there's an extra component that comes into manufacturing of sensors. The sensor size is important in determining the acceptable size of the circles of confusion. The circles of confusion are the out of focus points that don't converge perfectly to hit your sensor at the exact point of focus. The smaller the sensor, the smaller the acceptable circle of confusion. Think of it this way: the smaller the sensor, the more you have to enlarge it in post for proper projection, and therefore any softness that already exists is magnified a lot when you enlarge it. And in this way, camera manufacturers make sure that the acceptable circles of confusion are smaller in smaller sensors, so that when you enlarge it, it looks acceptably out of focus and certain areas look acceptably sharp. This means that the circle of confusion threshold, which is where the blur becomes noticeable, is tighter in smaller sensors. This is why phone manufacturers really struggle to get real optical shallow depth of field and often use some post processes internally to create it digitally. So even if you're using all the exact same parameters for the depth of field, this is the element that will always cause a smaller sensor to have a deeper depth of field and less bokeh.